Hello friends and welcome home. I'm Jamie James and this is our week 7 homeschool recap. We did a week 4 recap and I told you how our life was going, what we had been up to with homeschooling, how it was going so far. And today I'm going to tell you about a little bit about what we're doing on the homestead, what made this week better, and hopefully forecasting a little bit of what the upcoming weeks will look like. So let's get to it. Our week 7 went a lot better than our first couple weeks. I think that it was a little less busy, but not much. I wasn't able to record on week 6. I totally spaced week 5, but week 6, we did our break week from our classical conversations, which is the homeschool program we primarily use. And we were doing, I like to take a 6-week break that I go over everything and make sure that we're on task, catch up with things we're behind in, and just kind of see what would work better for the next 6 weeks. And I just take a 6-week at a time approach to things to just make my life easier, that I know we only have 6 weeks. We will address this. And then I like to organize or clean something because I feel like in the midst of schooling, things can get out of control. So this 6 weeks, I felt like we had a lot to kind of catch up on because we had some materials coming in slowly and it was just a little crazy. And you can hear some of that on in the week 4 recap if you want to go back and watch that video. But week 6 was full also because we don't pause our math for my girls and we still continue with speech and debate on that week. So it was full, but I felt like it was very productive. I did some decluttering. My goal is to get rid of some stuff so things are easier to clean. And so I was just going through and purging some things that we didn't need. And then we actually ended up being in a fire alert zone. So we had to pack up all of our stuff and just be prepared to leave the house here in the Northwest. If you're not in this area, it was a very crazy time for us. Normally we have rain coming into October and it had still been like a prolonged summer. And so it was very dry and there was fires all over the place. I think there was like 15 in the area, 9 or so up and down the I-5 corridor that I knew of. And so it was very crazy and a little hectic, trying to figure out what would we do with our cows and how would we transport them and trying to figure all of that out. So we kind of paused everything and I didn't recap on that day because we were trying to just sort through and we weren't really close to the fire. Like we had some distance, we weren't in danger or immediate danger, but it did cause me to wonder, what are we going to do in these circumstances had it gotten closer? So that took some brain space, that took time packing up our stuff and making sure I had all of our important documents in a container ready to go and all of that, and then unpacking because nothing happened. Praise the Lord. I'm glad nothing happened, but it was just a little added extra things that I didn't anticipate. So that was kind of how our week 6 went, and week 7 has been much better. It's been calm. I feel like things have kind of gotten put back together. This week, what went really well for this week for me, what made it better, we did just get into the groove of doing the things that we had on our list. So I have added a few things like History Quest is a new curriculum we're using this year, and we're doing a little extra Latin for my son, preparing for Challenge A. I know you don't have to, I'm just trying to help him, and along with reading. Like I just feel like we're just going to really get into that. And so in those areas, we got into that groove. And I feel like also with the oldest, we're doing math and we do some homework math stuff for geometry after the math class with the friends from class and just help them make sure they know what they're doing. And I feel like that's kind of, we've gotten into the groove of that transitioning to carpooling and getting home at a decent time. So I feel like all of that has kind of fallen into place a little bit better. So that felt good. And then also I started implementing my son's checklist. You think I would have done this already because I knew the wonders from the previous year. And essentially what the checklist is is I just take a blank notebook and I write down what he needs to do each day so he's accountable, but then I can check and make sure he's doing his work. And what I have done at the beginning of the year, which I'm gonna get this video out, it's just taking me a long time to edit it, is I have this master list. It looks huge, but it's all the things that, like, if we were to have an ideal week and we could fit everything in and we weren't tired, this is what it would look like. Obviously, it's not always gonna happen, but it helps me know that my great ambitions of all the curriculum that I would like to do, I do have a time that we would actually do it. And it's scheduled in. So I have to know that we have a time. Otherwise, I feel like it's not going to happen, right? I mean, this might not all happen anyway in some weeks or most weeks, but at least I know in an ideal week, we would achieve it. Otherwise, what needs to give and what is more important to me, right? And that could also look like if you chose to do some kind of circulating program or something that you don't do the same thing every day, right? You go to the next thing. Some of these could be on that. I am not super successful at that because every single day feels a little different in our home. And so it would probably just be a once a week thing. So if it's going to be a once a week thing, where can I fit it in once a week? So that's why I make my schedule the way it looks. And I will go into more detail with that in that video coming up. But basically what I do is I look at and I say, Monday, here is all my list of things that I want to get done. And I just put a checkbox with those things in the specific lesson that goes with it. So it's an accountability for him and I that we're kind of trying to stick to this. And I can look at each day that week and say, that's why I like the blank thing too, because every week is a little different. You know, there's like Halloween's coming up, and if you participate, you might not do school as long, or you might do something, an outing with a friend or whatever. There's a lot of weeks like that, right? And so I just look at every single day of the week that we're actually in and say, what is feasible for us? What's going to work out? What needs to give? What do we need to fit in? And what are we gonna put onto the shelf until next week? And I can do that because I have a blank slot. But this is kind of my ideal week to go back to. Kind of like a exercise routine if you go on a vacation. Sometimes it's really hard to get back into the routine if you've done an extended vacation because you haven't been doing it and you kind of forget what that routine was. And so that is what this list is for in this schedule. So I feel like that was significantly better as well. So those are just a few things that helped my week. We were on schedule a little bit better. We got into the groove. We had a cleaning midweek as well. I would add that. My kids helped and jumped in midweek and just helped like reset the house 100%. Sometimes that doesn't happen because they feel a little overwhelmed and I have to put them to the tasks of doing things, but they actually jumped in without me asking and started doing those. So that was super helpful, along with just getting my meals coordinated ahead of time, who's with me, of sometimes getting those meals thought through before 5 p.m. at night or whatever is hard to do. And I did a little bit better this week. So obviously we know what is successful and hopefully I can stick with it for week 8. We are going into our 8th week or 9th week for my challenge kids. We're on different weeks, right? And what I anticipate for this week is hopefully more of the same in week 7. There's a little less on the plate, and we are just going to try to keep running the rhythms and routines that have been successful. And so I'm going to get off here on my Sunday afternoon and fill out my son's checklist for the week along with my schedule. And I am going to hopefully make a future schedule. So let me know if you would like to see how we keep our schedules. And I'm planning on doing what would maybe work for a couple different personalities, because I know not all of you are like me, right? So hopefully there will be future videos. So let me know if that is helpful for you. And also let me know, how has your week been? I would love to hear how homeschooling is going for you, what week you're on, and how the whole year has kicked off for you, because multiple people have told me that this is an interesting year for them as well, that they haven't kicked off as smoothly as other years. So I'm curious to hear how you are doing. Thank you for joining me. I hope that your home is blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Hi, Mommy, I made something for you. This is you, this is me, this is the dog, this It's the rainbow and this is our house.
Oh, it's so cute.
And this is our name that's here. And then this is the sun.
Oh, it's so adorable.
It's raining a little bit. See?
Oh, I love that.
And it's perfect.
It is perfect. You're perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.